BioAegis Therapeutics is a private clinical stage company addressing inflammatory and infectious disease. Our mission is to address medical issues previously thought to be out of reach, that is, to prevent the damage caused by excess inflammation without suppressing the immune system. We expect our approach will save lives and reduce the morbidity of chronic disease. We have a high priority near-term opportunity to do just this, as we are currently enrolling patients with severe COVID-19 who are at risk of organ failure and death. Our future opportunity is to also apply our experience in developing this platform to address chronic inflammatory and degenerative diseases as well. This platform is built upon an abundant human blood protein, plasma gelsolin, a key component of the innate immune system that regulates inflammation while also fighting infection. Our passionate and experienced leadership team has over 60 years of pharmaceutical experience across the value chain, as well as deep scientific expertise, and we are supported by a broad board of scientific, business, and clinical advisors. Recombinant human plasma gelsolin forms the foundation of our product platform. This abundant blood protein circulates at about 200 milligrams per liter in healthy individuals, but is consumed during injury, inflammation, and infection. There is a striking and consistent pattern of depletion which is associated with the severity of disease in dozens of conditions, from infection to metabolic disease to neurologic disease. Its mechanism of action mirrors its pluripotent natural immune defense role in the body. First, it is a scavenger of actin, a toxic byproduct of damaged or dead cells, which interferes with immune cell access to pathogens and causes platelet aggregation and fibrin clots. Secondly, it resolves excess inflammation by binding to inflammatory mediators and reducing tissue neutrophils when their job is done. Lastly, it boosts immune function of the tissue macrophage, increasing phagocytosis and killing, reducing microbial load. There is strong evidence in more than 20 animal models that supplementation with the recombinant form of this protein is efficacious. No safety signals have been seen in animal toxicology or for clinical studies. This profile provides a broad opportunity to address both acute and chronic conditions, which currently have limited or no effective treatments. With the strong profile of organ protection, control of inflammation, and safety, it is attractive to treat COVID-19 patients to protect them from the most severe outcomes of this disease. In fact, 2 recent publications report that decreased gelsolin in ICU patients correlates with poor SOFA scores, which indicates the severity of organ dysfunction in 6 organ systems, and WHO scores, which assess the clinical severity of COVID-19 disease. And we know from prior data that patients with comorbidities would have depressed levels even before infection, perhaps accounting for their greater risk. But gelsolin is not just an anti-inflammatory. Recombinant gelsolin treatment reduces the mortality of severe pneumococcal pneumonia, even in the absence of antibiotics. Gelsolin is also effective on antimicrobial resistant strains. This data illustrates the effectiveness in severe models of resistant gram-positive and gram-negative pneumonia, with synergistic effects in the presence of suboptimal or totally ineffective antibiotics. In 2 models of lung injury, gelsolin protects the lung. In this burn model on the left, gelsolin controls permeability of the lung vasculature, or leaky lungs, resulting from the burn insult. In the infection model on the right, in multi-drug resistant severe pneumonia, gelsolin-treated animals survive with significantly less lung damage as compared with animals treated with antibiotic alone. The range of utility of this master regulator of inflammation extends well beyond the few studies I've shown here and includes severe influenza and sepsis, as well as chronic diseases, both metabolic and neurologic. Our clinical program in severe pneumonia is well advanced. We previously completed a phase 1b/2a study in hospitalized non-ICU patients with pneumonia for safety and pharmacokinetic data. Once daily treatment was determined to be reasonable and no drug-related safety signals were identified, even with 3 days of treatment at the highest dose, which raised Gelsolin levels much higher than physiological levels. We are currently enrolling patients in the EU with severe COVID-19 pneumonia categorized as WHO 4 to 6 severity. This double-blind randomized study will assess survival without organ failure on day 14, as well as adding to our safety database. While many companies are pursuing antivirals and vaccines for this pandemic, there are few that are addressing the severe cytokine storm that are not also immunosuppressive. Recombinant human plasma Gelsolin is not only non-immunosuppressive, it also has the unique property that it is not pathogen specific, and thus will be a solution not just for COVID-19, but for those future threats which emerge as well. Aside from this ongoing clinical study, we are preparing for a follow-up phase 2b/3 adaptive study as a registration trial, and we are scaling up for a larger manufacturing campaign for that study. Our broad patent estate and initial proprietary intellectual property was licensed from a consortium of Harvard University hospitals and was based on the seminal work of the late Dr. Thomas Stossel, discoverer of Gelsolin and scientific founder of BioAegis. More than 40 patents have already been issued worldwide for therapeutic and diagnostic uses in animals and humans in a wide range of conditions, including infection, inflammation, renal disease, and neurologic disease. BioAegis also has new patent filings in the last 2 years, which are being pursued. And importantly, in the US and Europe, biologics exclusivity will provide additional proprietary protection, as well as our manufacturing know-how. Revenues in the US are expected to reach $3 billion within 5 years of launch, and this is not taking into account any increase in pneumonia incidence due to COVID-19. Even prior to COVID, 1 million people in the US sought hospital care for pneumonia per year. 1/3 of these have severe pneumonia, and 50,000 of them die. BioAegis has previously raised $26 million and also benefits from about $50 million, which was invested prior to our founding. We recently completed a bridge financing of $7 million to accelerate our response to COVID-19. We're now focused on a $35 million raise to fund our phase 2b/3 study, advance secondary indications, and scale up manufacturing for commercialization. The bulk of the funding is allocated to R&D and manufacturing, as shown in this pie chart. BioAegis is just a few steps away from a breakthrough therapy for an inflammatory scourge that now fills our news feeds, and we'll be pursuing future products for chronic disease. We benefit from a strong preclinical efficacy profile and scientifically sound mechanism based on normal physiological function. There is enormous need for additional effective and safe agents for infectious and inflammatory disease. Both animal and clinical data, as well as the known physiology of this protein, predict minimal safety risks in development. Our program is protected by extensive underlying intellectual property and biologics exclusivity. And importantly, BioAegis has developed a high-yield, cost-effective manufacturing process and a lyophilized drug product suitable for ease of commercialization. Thank you very much for your attention and your interest. Please visit our website and follow us as we move forward.